Hey plant friends, welcome back. It's a beautifully sunny day outside today. It's about 40 degrees. The wind is a little bit chilly, but it feels so good to be outside. Today I am planting my ranunculus outside. I've had them hardening off in the shed, which is unheated. They're getting used to the ups and down temperatures that we have this time of the year. So they're pretty prepared to be put in the ground. I have some prep work to do to the bed first. Last year I kind of let some grass get overgrown in that area, so I'll be pulling that out, adding in a little bit of compost back in and some fertilizer, and I'm going to mulch the whole thing on top, and then we'll get them in the ground. And a little bit about ranunculus. They come in corms. I ordered them in January, I believe, and then in February I started the pre-sprouting process. I soaked them in water for a few hours using a stock pot, and using a fish tank pump helps rehydrate the corms, aerates the water, helps them plump up better. To start the pre-sprouting process, I put them in a tray with a fine layer of soil underneath, and then I covered it with a fine layer of soil, and they were already pre-soaking, so I didn't need to water them in. And after a few weeks they started rooting and then sprouting, and then I may have started a little too early. I had to pot them up in the 4-inch pots that you saw and baby them along until it was warm enough to get out here. That's the risk you run, I guess, in Zone 5A in Vermont. Next year I may wait a couple weeks, so they're a little more, I want to say like this size versus this size. And I don't know, this is only my first year actually growing ranunculus. So I'm not too familiar with the growing process, so this is just an experiment for me. We'll see how it goes. So then I'll get them in the ground. They do like cooler weather, so that's why I'm doing this since the beginning of April. And on cooler nights, when it gets down in the 20s, I guess below 28 degrees, I will cover it with a frost cloth just to protect it. But they do like the cooler temperatures, and they should bloom in about 10 to 16 weeks after pre-sprouting. So by June, we should have some blooms on these. I'm super excited. They get about 10 to 18 inches tall. And with ranunculus, to encourage more blooms, you deadhead them. So you cut back the blooms that are spent. And harvesting, we'll go over that when it's time to get there, but harvesting just when it's like the marshmallow state, they're not quite open yet, and they will supposedly have a 2-week vase life, so I'm super excited for that. I just can't wait to see these bloom in the landscape. Just having them is super fun. I can't wait. All right, let's get these in the ground. There's the arbor right there. This bed is half the length of my garden, which is a 40 by 40 roughly. In this area, this is where I have some wild strawberries, some grass growing in, and then this is a pile of soil that I had left over, so we're just gonna fill it all in, clean it up, get some fertilizer in, top it with some mulch, and get the ranunculus planted. As I was starting to weed out the strawberries and grass, I noticed that this big hunk of dirt I left here was frozen solid. So I thought maybe dumping some hot water on it would break it up and loosen it up a little bit, that I could divide it and spread it out. With no such luck. It wasn't working very well, so I was just spreading out what I could and deciding what to do, if I should continue on or wait until it thaws all the way, let the sun thaw it out the rest of the way. So I just continued on while I thought about it for a bit. After a couple attempts of dumping hot water on this area and smashing it with my trowel, didn't seem like it was going anywhere, so I just pressed on, finished the rest of the bed until I came up with a game plan.
Oh, Zucko Puppy. Oh, Zucko Puppy. Hi, honey. I'm all dirty. I'm all dirty. Hello. Hello, sweet girl.
There's a couple bags left over. This is a soil builder bag I had from last year, just a little bit left, so I filled in the gaps where I needed more soil, and this is some worm castings. All right, some finishing touches before I plant, just smoothing everything out, making it nice and even. Then I'm going to take the leftovers that I dug out and bring it over to the chickens. They can scratch it up and get the bugs, eat the strawberry leaves. They love it. Now back to work, spreading out some fertilizer. This is Plant Tone from Espoma that I use. I do like to use Biotone starter fertilizer for this. I did run out, so just used what I had. This wood chip pile I've had sitting here for 2 years, had it delivered by a local arborist. So it's nice and composted down, makes a wonderful mulch. Using wood chips as a mulch works great for me. I've used it for a few years. It's wonderful at weed suppression and water retention, and I've had no issues with plants growing in it. After working around this frozen block of soil for the past hour or so, it finally occurred to me, I wonder if it's frozen underneath, because all the soil on the rest of the bed seemed fine. So I put a shovel under and it dug right up. Then I grabbed my trowel and mixed in some fertilizer, and it was perfect. It wasn't frozen at all underneath. So I'm back on track, just mulching the top, and the whole bed will be ready to plant. I'm so excited. I thought of that. All right, so I got my ranunculus laid out. As you're pulling in the driveway, you'll see this first. This is the Merlot in this section here. I had it way at the end, but I thought it would get lost. I put the gold down there, thinking the gold would help bring your eyes to this area, and then you could see the Merlot better. And in the middle, I did the Passion collection because it kind of has a little bit of each of the colors mixed. So I thought it would be a great blend, but still color blocking, and in order to keep them separate. I did space them out 6 to 9 inches. At first I did a little closer, 4 to 6, and I fell short, probably right here. Not enough to plant anything else that would stick out for the time being. So I just spaced them out a little more. And this one is Marshmallow. Pink color, I only had a couple of them sprout. As I'm planting these, I am digging down through the mulch, getting all the way to the soil level to make sure the top of the root ball is flush with the soil. Ooh, look at those roots. All right, I did it. Woohoo! So excited to get that done. Felt so good to get my hands in the dirt. The sun feels so warm. It warmed up quite a bit. It's probably closer to 50 degrees, which for us here feels amazing. Early April. Watered everything in. I probably will cover it tonight. It's going to be in the 20s tonight, so I will put a frost cloth over these tonight. And then the rest of the week, 50s, 30s with some rain, so it'll be perfect to help keep these watered. Thanks for watching. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye. Something else I wanted to mention I forgot to say is that ranunculus for us here in Zone 5A is not a perennial. So after the blooms are done, the foliage dies back, I will dig them up and store them for the winter and then start the pre-sprouting process again in the spring.
Oh, hi, garlic babies.